Hey guys, we're here at Perth Oz Comic Con and I'm joined with Nicola Scott, the fabulous comic artist. Thank you for being on the show, Nicola.
Thanks very much for having me.
So can you tell us how you got involved in illustrating and drawing?
I decided to draw comics when I was about 29. It was based on the fact that I was working in hospitality and getting over it. And I knew I could draw and I wanted a creative career. And the more I thought about what options might be available, the more depressed I got until I thought, you know, if I had to draw the same thing all day, every day, what do I want to draw? And then I thought, I'd be really happy if I could just draw Wonder Woman every day. And as soon as I thought that, I was like, oh my God, there is a real job where someone gets paid to draw Wonder Woman every day. That's drawing comic books. Comic books are full of superheroes. I used to love superheroes when I was a kid. Oh my God, I'm going to draw comic books. And how I started on my current project, Black Magic, was with a good old mate of mine who I met through sort of coming through the ranks of the comic book industry, a guy called Greg Rucker. He pitched this idea of a witch who is a detective to me about 4 or 5 years ago, and I loved the idea. Witches are kind of my occult genre of choice.
Yeah, mine too.
And I had all these opinions, and it wasn't long before we got to start sort of developing it further.
So what originally drew you to Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman was the first superhero I ever saw. When I was 4 was around about the time that the TV show started in the 70s, and I was sitting there with my sisters and my cousins, the 6 girls on a sofa, watching TV, and Wonder Woman came on, and I was just dazzled. I've never seen anything like it. It was like, what's this? I'm all in. As I grew up and I kind of grew out of some of my more geeky interests as a little kid, I never quite grew out of my love of Wonder Woman.
Oh, but that's cool though. So if you kind of feel empowered by Wonder Woman, do you feel like, because you watched her as a little girl, like, has that kind of always been a part of you kind of thing?
I really related to her because she had all these Amazon sisters and I had all my Amazon sisters. We're a family of sort of tall, loud, powerful women. You know, the only men in my family are the ones that marry into it so we can procreate more women.
Fabulous.
So as a kid I related to that. I also just loved that she was compassionate, but she was powerful. She was super glamorous, you know. Not only was she beautiful, but she was wearing these sort of bright colors. And, you know, I've always loved bright colors, and it was dazzling, and I was dazzled.
Yeah, beautiful. And so you're excited for the upcoming feature film?
I am, especially now that I've seen Batman vs Superman. I think Wonder Woman was one of the highlights.
Cool.
Best theme music. I think Gal Gadot did a really fabulous job.
Awesome.
And it's made me very excited, and I'm very excited to hear everybody else talking about their excitement. So I don't feel like it's just mine anymore, and I have to try and convince people that Wonder Woman's cool. I'm hearing nerdy boys that have probably never really cared about Wonder Woman going, Wonder Woman was cool, I can't wait for a movie. Awesome.
Cool. So you did touch base a little bit on Black Magic, and how you started it and the collaboration and stuff like that. What are some of your favourite things about it?
Well, we had decided very early on that it was an occult noir. That was the genre that we created for ourselves. So it instantly gave us a sense of atmosphere and tone that we wanted to achieve. That really interests me. What I love about witchcraft that I don't see in a lot of witch fiction is the price that you have to pay for the magic. The ritual necessary to achieve a bend in nature, you know, enforcing your will on energy always creates a vacuum somewhere else. So there's always a consequence. And that was, you know, when Greg was first talking to me about it, I said, you have to explain to me how you see magic, because I've got a very definite idea of how I see magic. And when it seemed like we were on the same page, I was like, okay, I'm all in. And then on top of that, you know, as we were sort of workshopping the idea, I was sort of trying to work out how I wanted the book to look in my head. And the more I thought about it, the more I knew I wanted it to be black and white. and that I probably wanted to paint it. So I've been painting this whole thing in grayscale.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so it ends up feeling like an artifact, which it should.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Lovely chatting with you. I could sit here and chat all day, but I'll probably edit it down. But then, yeah, thank you once again.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye, everyone. So we're always discussing.
Yeah.
But then he goes away and he writes the script.
Okay.
So, you know, he will take all the information that we've talked about in a sort of a very amoeba state, and he will give that plot some structure and set the rules. And he'll then send it to me. We'll talk about it some more, and then I set to work on designing and realizing the characters, pacing what he's written in script form.
Yeah.